with a song.
I don't like my mind right now, stacking up problems that are so unnecessary. Wish that I could slow things down. I wanna let go, but there's comfort in the panic. And I drive myself crazy, thinking everything's about me. Yeah, I drive myself crazy, cause I can't escape the gravity.
Sorry, but I have to stop. Okay, because of time. Alright, so the last line of the song, do you remember?
After that, holding
On the first line of the song, do you remember? I don't like my mind right now. Okay, so in 2017, I was driving back from a restaurant, and after having my dinner, and then suddenly I heard a song that was sang by this same singer, sung by the same singer, Chester Bennington, and I felt nostalgic all of a sudden, and because that song I heard it when I was 15 years old. Okay, and I was wondering why all of a sudden are they playing this really old song. Turns out, when the radio was playing, the radio crew said that Chester Bennington had committed suicide. No, this is in 2017, and I felt very sad and I felt very perplexed at why he did that to himself. Isn't he loved by millions? Doesn't he have a family? He had a wife, you know that? And is he not rich? He has everything in the world, and yet he committed suicide. Okay, and as I dig through the reason why he committed suicide, I learned this new word, which is mental illness. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good morning and good afternoon. Boys and girls. Okay, so sorry. I would like to talk about mental illness, and there are three aspects that I will be talking about: causes, symptoms, and the diagnosis. Alright. Now, the American Psychiatric Association in 2018 defines mental illness as a state of mind in emotion and thinking and behavior that is negative. Okay? The state of mind is corrupted, and mental illness are associated with the distress in social settings, such as your family, your friends, or relationships. Okay? Bear in mind, but luckily, mental illness is treatable. However, bear in mind, it is not curable. Okay? Let me begin with the causes of mental illness. Okay, so Chester Bennington, remember the guy? Yeah. Chester Bennington is a 46-year-old man. So, mental illness, he committed suicide, by the way, if you missed it. He committed suicide at the age of 46. So we can deduce that mental illness can happen to anyone, anytime, anywhere. Doesn't matter if you're a 7-year-old boy or if you're a 46-year-old man. Okay? But why? So there are three main causes as to why we have mental illness. The first cause is biological factor. Now, biological factors, we cannot change it. It's in ourselves. Some people have different hormone levels in themselves. Okay, for example, perhaps I have more hormones that make me happy than you do. So you might feel sadder. Or you may have hormones that makes you sad. That is depression. Okay, so the first part of biological factor is genetics. In your genetic code, it might code your body to produce more of these hormones, and this could attribute to ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, bipolar disorders, overcompulsive disorders, and autism. Now remember, autism is nothing to be ashamed of. Okay? The next one would be substance abuse, be it by your parents or yourself. Perhaps your parents have substance abuse history. They drink a lot, they take drugs, they smoke a lot, and that causes you, the child, to have some mental illness. Okay? These are birth defects. We cannot change it. It's in our biology. The next one would be nutrition. Now, nutrition, the lack of nutrients in our poor dietary state. Okay? So this could cause insomnia, could cause anxiety, could cause bipolar disorders and eating disorders such as bulimia and anemia. Anorexia, sorry. And then the next would be injuries such as sports injuries. Okay? And these sports injuries could be your injured vital areas, and it could it could affect your brain, parts of your brain, and it could cause schizophrenia. Have you heard of schizophrenia? Do you know what is schizophrenia? Do you know what schizophrenia is? Schizophrenia is the symptom that you start seeing things, seeing dragons, seeing things on fire, I don't know, all sorts of things you can see. Okay? And personality disorder, you have split personalities, you have many personalities. Suddenly you are angry, suddenly you are sad. Okay? The next one, under biological factors, would be infections, virus infections. Perhaps you went to Zimbabwe, to be racist, caused by, and suddenly you have Ebola. I don't know. So these types of viruses can affect your biology, and in the end can affect your psychology. Okay? The types of symptoms that would come together with infections is schizophrenia and personality disorder, because it affects your brain. And the second one that is causes of mental illness is psychological disorder. Now, psychological disorder mostly attributes, there are many types of psychological disorder, and mostly attributes from families, dysfunctional families, abusive parents, neglectful parents. Okay, abusive parents are parents who, well, abuse you. They can beat you up, and this could affect your mind, your mental state, and it makes you feel sad and disconnected and try to isolate yourself. Okay, and it could produce anxiety in yourself. It could produce paranoia and have trust issues. Okay. Then the final one under the causes of mental illness is the environmental factors. Okay. The loss of a loved one, for example. A loss of a loved one could make you feel, the symptoms of a loss of a loved one could cause you to have insomnia, and you have changes in your diet. Okay, you don't feel like eating, you feel sad, and sadness leads to depression. Okay, and the next one would be a dysfunctional family. When you come from a dysfunctional family, as similar to psychological factors, you have traumas, right? The lack of love and attention, depression can cause depression, can cause bipolar disorders, can cause eating disorders. It can also cause PTSD. PTSD doesn't have to be only got through war or whatnot. PTSD could be a traumatic event that happened, and when you think about it, your heart rate starts to increase, and you feel hardness to breathe, and you can't think straight. Okay, low self-esteem. My previous point, dysfunctional family. It also can lead to kleptomania. Have you heard of kleptomania? Kleptomania is the love of stealing things. 30%. In America, okay, 70% of kleptomania cases are from people who come from dysfunctional families. The next point, low self-esteem, feeling worthless. This could lead to anxiety, eating disorder, and panic attacks. Do you understand what is anxiety? Do you understand what is low self-esteem? Alright. The next one is changing jobs or schools. When you change a location, change from moving from one place to another. For example, when I first came here, I had trouble fitting in. Okay, some of my friends, when they first came here, they feel sad, they feel depressed, they feel disconnected. Okay, and this could cause PTSD, depression, insomnia, and seasonal affective disorder. Seasonal affective disorder, which is acronym for SAD. It comes and goes seasonally. Yeah. Yes, true, summer sadness. And finally, socio-cultural expectations. Socio-cultural expectations is the expectations from your parents, from your friends, from your loved ones, from your relatives, from anyone that is in your social circles. Now, I have a friend who went to KL with her friends. Just because she wants to be with her friends, she followed her friends to KL and studied there. However, she couldn't keep up with the trends, and she couldn't keep up with the pace of life over there. She lost a lot of money, she used a lot of money, wasted a lot of money and time, and this caused her to fall into depression because she couldn't meet the standards of the socio-cultural expectations. And finally, we are in the 21st century, and what do we have in our pockets at all times? Phones and money. So technology has its impacts. Okay, so social media can attribute to FOMO. Have you heard of FOMO? Fear of missing out. When you scroll through Instagram and you see your friends, they're having a party without me. Without me? Excuse me. And you feel left out. And you have anxiety. You have a state of mind where you think, and you feel that everyone is leaving you out. And you have that paranoia, that's a symptom. And you have narcissistic personality disorder. You feel like the world revolves around you. That's true. You have that. Okay? And you fall into depression. It's the worst case. Yeah, it's not a joke. No. Okay, so as we move through the 21st century, the list of causes could expand, could increase. Yes. Now, we have to first understand we have to identify the symptoms before we move towards diagnosis and treatment. Symptoms. So, we can feel sad or down, we could have confused thinking and reduced ability to concentrate, extreme mood, withdrawal from friends, and significant tiredness, delusions, trouble understanding social cues, alcohol or drug abuse, sex drive changes, excessive anger, and suicidal thinking. So why is it important to know about these kind of symptoms? It's because we need to identify it for ourselves before it's too late, and to identify it in others, and to support others to understand where they are coming from. If you see someone who is suddenly angry and who is suddenly sad, why? We shouldn't just judge them based on that. We should understand. We should get to know them, have a discussion with them to understand them more deeply. So once we have identified the symptoms, we can move towards diagnosis. Diagnosis doesn't mean cure, it means treatment. It's you acknowledging that you have a problem and you want to take the next step in helping yourself. So how to diagnose your treatment? Your illness. First of all, you have to understand that you are not a psychiatrist. Okay? You can't diagnose yourself. You don't know that you have this so and so disorder. You don't know that you have depression. So what you have to do is you have to seek psychiatric help. To prevent it, you have to pay attention to warning signs. You have to get routine medical care, get help when you need it, and take good care of yourself. Right. To recap, there are 3 aspects to mental illness: causes, symptoms, and diagnosis. The causes could be biological factors, psychological, factors, and environmental factors. And the symptoms, the reason why we need to understand the symptoms is because to help yourself and to help others. And the diagnosis is to understand that you are not a professional and you have to practice self-care and to not stigmatize mental illness. Thank you for letting me use.